Whew. Y'all were mad last week, man. I was in the doghouse because I said side hustles will not give you financial freedom. They're not a real business. A lot of y'all are grinding side hustles and they won't become a real business, but there are some that will. Yes, I will admit that. They're called convertible side hustles. There is a chance that the side hustle you're working on can convert into a real business. But what is the difference? How do you know which one's convertible and which one isn't? I'm going to give you 6 things that's going to be able to show you what a non-convertible side hustle is. Therefore, you can eliminate it or you can pivot if that's you. If you are in a convertible side hustle, then I'm also going to show you how to take that side hustle and make it a full-time business so it can pay your bills. Let's go ahead and dive in, look at this list, and see if you are on the right side or the wrong side of the hustle. Let's get started. Okay. I know what you're saying. What makes me the expert? How do I know what a convertible and a non-convertible side hustle is? Well, I have helped over 200 entrepreneurs actually start their businesses, and I have started multiple businesses myself. This is something from my actual experience. Let's go ahead and dive into this list and see if you agree with me or not. Number 1 is platform dependency. What do I mean by platform dependency? Well, if you're an Uber driver, DoorDash, Avon, Fiverr, any of those, don't be mad at me. But those are platform dependency. You will never be able to convert that into a real business because it's not your business. It is someone else's business, and you are the minion making the money as a side hustle. And it's okay if that's what you want to do. But if you're trying to get financial freedom and take this and turn it into a business, you won't be able to do it because you are dependent on that platform. If they change the pricing, the regulations, the rules, anything, you're done. You are absolutely done. And you've seen this happen, you being a DoorDasher or Uber driver, the things that go on and you get frustrated. Been there, done that. Number 2, no room for scalability. In other words, the market's too small to scale. You might have 1,000 people that you can sell to or give a service to, and that's it. Well, it's no longer scalable once it gets to 1,000. Therefore, there's no more growth potential. You're going to be stuck. It's not going to give you a financial feature that's going to give you freedom. You're going to be limited by the market size. One prime example of this is seasonal things like Christmas and Halloween is only good for 2 months. So September, October, November, December. Now, if you do both of them, you could get 4 months out of it, but you couldn't scale it any other time in the year. Therefore, you're going to be limited. This is something that you need to look at if you're doing a side hustle that's trendy or just seasonal or has a small market share. Number 3, one-person trap. Now, this is something I talked about in the past, just system versus individual, solopreneur versus a company. If you are the sole provider of the service or the product or whatever it is that you're doing, then you will not be able to grow it into a business. If you're a personal trainer and you do not own the facility, you're a one-person trap. If you get sick, no money's being made because you can't make it. If you have to go on vacation, no money's being made because you're not there to do it. How can you pivot on that though? I'm gonna give you a little pointer. You can actually own the platform. In other words, own the gym, own the actual platform and have other people work for you. That can turn it into a real business. But if you're just going to be a one-man show, a one-woman show, it's not going to work. And that's just a hustle that's non-convertible. But I told you how to convert it. You can listen if you want to. Revenue ceiling. That's number 4. If you only have the ability to make this amount of money, no matter what you do, then that's a ceiling and it can't grow and it can't be a real viable, true business if it doesn't have the ability to grow. And you're saying, isn't that the same thing as scalability? Scalability had to do with the market size. This has to do with the amount of money. You can have a market size of 1 million people, but don't even give you 10 cents per item. That's your max. Then you're limited on how much you can make. And that's it. That's the cutoff. If you're in a side hustle that limits the amount of revenue that you can make, then this is something that you want to pivot and you want to change from. Number 5, it's about margins. So while you have the scalability in 3, let's say you can scale. You can get as many people as you want. You can get 1 million, 10 million, 20 million. right? And number four, you actually can get all the revenue you want. You can charge them $1,000 a person, $10,000 a person, and you can make hundreds of millions of dollars. That would seem like a side hustle that you can actually convert into a real business. If I'm making that kind of money, shucks, man. I don't need a job. I have the full-time business, right? But if it costs you the same amount as it does in revenue and you break even, then you don't have a business. You're just doing work. You're just doing charity. You're just spending energy, right? You have to make sure that whatever you're doing is actually going to produce enough margin for you to be fruitful. And I know y'all know what I'm talking about because I have done side hustles in the past where I did all this grinding, all this work. And when I did the math, and I finally seen what was in my hand, I was like, yo, this ain't worth it. I'm done. I'm out. I ain't doing this crap because it wasn't worth doing. If you're in that one, pivot now before it's too late. So number 6 is one that we really don't think about too much. And that's a commodity trap. A commodity trap is when you have a product that is not different from any other product of its kind. So let's just say all this Amazon stuff, okay? Everybody's online. Hey, man, let me show you how to plug in Amazon, man. You get from the wholesaler and you can just shoot in. You can be sleep at night. You can be making all this money up with toothbrushes and combs and chargers and cases and just racking it up, bro. Bull crap. Because if I'm selling the case and you're selling the case, what really makes the difference between the case? Oh, my case is more durable. They all say that, right? Oh, my case is made from this fiber. They all say that, right? You're trying to judge which one's better and you go on price. If everything is based on price and that's the race downhill, then this is a commodity trap because the only thing that gets you business is getting cheaper. And eventually it's going to be too cheap to make a profit, which is going to lead to what? The margins being smaller, which was number 5. If any of your side hustles match any of these 6 things, that means you have a non-convertible side hustle, period. If it doesn't match them, you have a convertible side hustle. Yes. Now we have something to work with. Now I'm going to show you how to take that convertible side hustle and actually turn it into a full-time business to pay your bills. Are you ready? You ready for that? Okay, let's go ahead and dive into my 3-step process in order to be able to do that. Number 1, you have to set the foundation, period. The foundation is going to be your base, what you make in your income from your job, what you do right now in your career. I know some of us do these side hustles so we can get some extra clothes, take some extra vacations. Now you just got a side job. That's not what a side hustle is for if you're trying to convert it into a business. Now, if you're just doing it for that, then that is a non-convertible side hustle. But if you're actually trying to do something to convert into a business for financial freedom, then you're going to have to keep your base paying for all your expenses in life. And your side hustle money goes into the bank. It goes into the bank to build a nest egg, to build up investment backing so that when you do venture over full time, you have something there to support you. I recommend you at least get 6 months worth of backup money that you're putting in to the kitty with your side hustle needs to add up to 6 months of a living expenses before you even consider moving over to the business full time. But hey, don't rush. Don't move, because that's not good enough. That's not good enough. Don't think, oh, I got 6 months worth of savings. I can go ahead and jump over it. Nah, you shoot yourself in the foot, bam, and you'll be done. Number 2 is going to be even more vital. So now you have 6 months worth of savings because you've been taking your side hustle money and putting it into the bank and using your income, your salary as your base to be able to build a foundation. Now you need to match your income, right? And wrong answer. You need to do 1.5 times than your base income. A lot of people say, oh, man, hey, man, if you just make the same amount of money that you make from your job, you can go ahead and quit it and you can do it full time. Go ahead and do that and see what happens to you. I think not, because you have to think about it this way. When you have your own business and you're making a certain amount of money, you need to be able to account for any expenses when it comes to taxes, when it comes to any licensing, permits, all these different things that would be required for you to be full time into your business. And you might even get additional overhead. You need to account for that. That's why it needs to be 1.5 times, because when expenses are calculated, you can bring it back to the income that you need to be able to cover all your bills. So if you make $5,000 a month right now with your job, with your career, then you're going to need to make $7,500 a month when it comes to your side hustle before you can even try to convert it over to a full-time business. You get what I'm saying? 1.5 times, not the same amount. But I bet you think we finished, right? You think, okay, I got the little nest egg because I put the money over there with my side hustle money in the first part and getting that foundation. Now I'm making 1.5 times more than my actual salary or income. So I'm ready to roll now. I'm ready to go. No, you're not. Number 3, the most important one. You got to make sure it's sustainable. Yeah, you can make 1.5 times more. You can make $7,500 one month. But what happens month 2 if you make $3,000? What happens if you make nothing? Now you're panicking. Now you're freaking out. Now you're tapping into that 6 months worth of, backup money that you had already out the gate. Yes. So you need to make sure it's sustainable. And I say that you need to be making that 1.5 times for about 6 months minimum. 12 months, I would say, really would be preferable. And the reason why I say that, because it takes you through the different seasons, through the different type of economic times, different type of trends, things that are unforeseeable. You'll be able to tell over a 12-month period of time whether it's sustainable or not. The only caveat to that is if you get month 2, 3, 4, 5, and you start tripling, quadrupling the amount of money that you make on your salary, then that's going to be something on its own. And I pray that happens to you. All right. So that was the 3 things for you to be able to convert over. But I'm not finished. You're already rushing, trying to get off the video. You ain't learned nothing yet. You learned enough to get yourself in trouble. Here goes the thing that's going to tie it together that you need to take to heart. If you really want that side hustle to be a successful full-time business, to pay your bills, to give you a better life, to give you freedom, it needs to be in a field that you have experience or that you have knowledge of. Your chances of success are more likely if you're doing something that you know or you're knowledgeable. I know sometimes you want to do things brand new. I'm tired of this. I want to convert to something different. But then you need to be studying that while you're doing your convertible side hustle, or it's not going to be convertible. And you need to be getting seasoned in it, and you need to be learning from it while you're doing it. And then when you get to a point where you're quote unquote intermediate or expert, you can then go over. But don't just call yourself trying to do that without having experience. Now, this video here is one I did last week about the side hustle lie. It is the foundation for what I'm talking about today. It gives you the framework for actually taking the convertible side hustle and turn it into a real business. Check it out. This is your boy J.I., a random podcast. Give me some thumbs up and also put a comment down below. I'll holler at you on the other side.